What's going on, guys? This is Sam, and today Apple finally released iOS 11.2.5. We've been waiting for this one for quite some time. If you have any iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch capable of running iOS 11, you can head over to Settings, General, and Software Update and grab the latest version of iOS 11 right now. I was really surprised to see that the changelog for iOS 11.2.5 is pretty long. There's a lot that changed in this update that Apple just didn't highlight whatsoever during the beta testing process. So let's go ahead and jump in. First off, there is a new feature in iOS 11.2.5 that allows you to ask Siri about the news. So you can go, "Hey Siri, play the news," "Hey Siri, tell me the news," something along the lines of that, and Siri can now actually read you the news, a daily podcast from one of 4 news sources: CNN, NPR, Fox News, or the Washington Post. So whatever your favorite news source out of the 4 is, Siri can now read you news through playing the podcast that each of those news sources put out on a daily basis. It's definitely one of those features that is more useful when you use Hey Siri, when you can't actually see your screen, and it's definitely geared towards use on the HomePod, which actually rolls us right over to our second change for iOS 11.2.5. This is the first official update to officially support the HomePod, and as the changelog says, it allows you to set up and automatically transfer your Apple ID, Apple Music, Siri, and Wi-Fi settings to HomePod. Apple also just announced today that the HomePod will be releasing for everyone on February 9th, with pre-orders going live this Friday on January 26th. So if you're excited for the HomePod, you can pre-order it January 26th, and it will be launching for everyone 2 weeks later on February 9th in a few launch countries, I believe the United States, Australia, and the United Kingdom. So asking Siri about the news and official HomePod support are the 2 biggest changes in iOS 11.2.5, but there are a few other improvements and fixes as well. First off, iOS 11.2.5 addresses an issue that could cause the phone app to display incomplete information in the call list, fixes an issue that caused mail notifications from some Exchange accounts to disappear from the lock screen when unlocking iPhone X with Face ID. This next one was a really random bug, but I'm glad to see that it has been corrected now. It addresses an issue that could cause messages conversations to temporarily be listed out of order, fixes an issue in CarPlay where now playing controls became unresponsive after multiple track changes, and finally iOS 11.2.5 adds the ability for VoiceOver to announce playback destinations and AirPod battery level. And as always, below that we have a link to the security content. Now, I didn't anticipate any big security changes happening, but there are actually a lot of security fixes in iOS 11.2.5. Audio fixes, core Bluetooth fixes, 3 or 4 fixes for the kernel, link presentation, Quartz core, more general security fixes, and a WebKit fix as well. So it actually has some pretty big security changes in iOS 11.2.5. I don't want to jump into all of these. None of them are as big as something like Meltdown or Spectre that came out a while ago, but of course, if you want to be on the latest security content, you want to update to iOS 11.2.5 as soon as you can. And I just double checked, and the fix for link presentation in the security changelog is actually for the iOS messages bug, where if you were sent a specific link, it could crash your device and crash the Messages app. That has also been corrected for sure in iOS 11.2.5. Moving on to battery life and performance. Battery life in iOS 11.2.5 has been the best that I've seen on iOS 11 so far. It's not so much better than iOS 11.2 or so much worse than iOS 11.2. It's somewhere in the middle, but I do feel like there are some minor battery improvements in this update, at least that I've experienced on my use with the iPhone X, and performance has also been pretty good, getting above about a 10,300 Geekbench score as the average between all the betas. So it's a good update. Performance is on point, battery is on point, and you get some pretty cool new features for Siri and the HomePod as well. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this update. Do you think iOS 11.2.5 is a solid update? Will you be updating? And if you're not updating, tell me why down below. If you enjoyed watching this video, it does help me out if you take just 1 second to drop a like below, and of course, hit subscribe for more videos like this in the future. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can head over to iupdateos.com/merch, use code iOS for 10% off your purchase of any t-shirt, hoodie, or combination of both. That would be incredible. But for now, I've been Sam. I hope all of you are doing great, and I will talk to you in my next video.